All right, guys, so day 2 of free agency comes and the Jaguars have made their first splash. We have found a starting middle linebacker. We have signed Joe Schobert from the Cleveland Browns. Now, Schobert signs a 5-year, $53.75 million deal. That's a little over $10 million annually. And with that, he got a $12 million signing bonus, and he's got $22.5 million guaranteed. Now, I don't really know much about Schobert. Some things about him is that he was a 4th-round pick in the 2016 NFL draft out of the University of Wisconsin. And, Big Ten is able to breed a lot of good middle linebackers and offensive linemen. And he was also a Pro Bowler in 2017. Now, upon doing some research on this guy, it looks like he is a very good coverage linebacker. That was one of his highest grades. And he's also able to, get in on the run game with getting some tackles and stuff. Although he's a little bit stronger in pass coverage. Him and Corey Littleton were kind of the two best linebackers in those categories. And the Browns wanted to get him back, but they weren't willing to pay $10 million annually. And as we all know, the Browns are spending a lot of money right now in free agency, so they kind of have to pick and choose where they want to spend their money. And because they don't want to place a franchise tag on him, because there are a lot of linebackers being paid a lot of money, because there are 3-4 outside linebackers, guys like Von Miller and like Khalil Mack, that are factored into that linebacker spot, so that really shoots that franchise number up when it comes to franchise tagging him. So for that, the Browns let him walk, and the Jaguars were in competition with the Bengals to sign Joe Schobert, and the Bengals ultimately couldn't match that deal. Now, it's kind of cool in two folds. Obviously, the Jaguars now have a middle linebacker, and the Jaguars just struggled so much last year when it comes to linebacker injuries. They were expecting Myles Jack to be the middle linebacker, and then they had Quincy Williams at weak side, but then he got injured, and then you had guys like Donald Payne, Austin Calitro. You had all kinds of players back there, like just random guys who were picking guys up off of the streets, and they were getting immediate playing time. I mean, if there was any position that was a mess last year for the Jaguars, it was that middle linebacker spot. So, and another thing with this is that not only do we have a starting middle linebacker, now we can put Myles Jack in a position that he can really thrive in, and that is the weak side linebacker spot. Obviously, he's been kind of playing out of position these last couple of years, and it's been quite obvious about that. And, now we get to put him in a position where he's off the ball and he can just run. He can use his athleticism to just run guys down, get tackles. He doesn't have to use his brain as much, just because, as middle linebacker, you're really the quarterback of that defense. And I think with Myles Jack playing that position, he was just doing a little bit of thinking too much, and he wasn't using his common instincts. And that's where Myles Jack is most dangerous, is when he's using, when he's playing free and he can be an instinctive player. So this is a pretty big thing for the Jaguars, man. They signed big. They signed a guy to, a 5-year, $53 million deal. It's a pretty big deal, but it's not huge. It's not enormous. And, the Jaguars, they kind of solidified that linebacker spot. We'll see what happens with Quincy Williams. I mean, he'll definitely stay on the team, but, we invested a 3rd-round pick in him. So he's not going to get any playing time, really, unless we get an injury at the linebacker position. So, his time will have to wait, and, he'll probably just be a mainly special teams player. But I'll keep you guys updated as the day goes on. I know there was a thing with Keelan Cole and Jeff Swaim today. I will go over that a little bit later, that including any other minor Jaguars news as I see it. And thank you guys for watching. Go Jags.